So I'm really excited to work with Jensen Ackles.
New seasons mean new cast members. How did the actors in The Boys end up in their roles? We've got 15 of the wildest audition stories coming right up.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly.
We know where this is going.
Yeah.
Number 1. He had the producer rooting for him. The production was looking at some bigger names, but Eric Kripke was ready to fight for Jensen. After about 4 rounds of tapes and notes, Kripke felt confident in what they'd gotten. This was no easy feat though. Jensen had to film a 2-person scene, but it was in the middle of lockdown, so his options for readers to help him were limited. So he got creative. I pre-recorded Butcher doing my Butcher voice and then had Daniel off to the side pressing play and pause. So I was giving my lines as Soldier Boy and then hearing my pre-recorded Butcher lines back to me. You do what you gotta do.
But guess what? There is this fantastic opportunity.
Number 2. She hates auditioning, and this was no different. Any audition that comes her way is typically a stressor, but right off the bat, Erin Moriarty started really vibing with the material during her self-tape to play Starlight. The actress shared, "It made me want the role more. I had to do a mini monologue, and I wasn't dreading it. It wasn't anything but pleasant and fun." There was nothing but radio silence for a month after her first audition, unfortunately, but then a surprise screen test was sprung on her. Moriarty went through an excruciating 90-minute-long screen test, and the actress left feeling like she'd blacked out. But before she left the marathon, Kripke shared some pretty reassuring words. "Just so you know, no matter what happens, no matter what the studio decides, creatively, we're rooting for you." And we know what happened after that.
That is like, I put that costume on and I feel it. Like I feel like I step into her and it's cool.
Number 3. This wasn't just any audition tape. Tomer was in Tel Aviv with a good friend to get his audition tape done, and he didn't hold back in bringing the character Frenchie to life. He screamed his lungs out in French take after take, but since they were filming outdoors, people nearby heard and got worried. Next thing the actor knew, his tape was interrupted by 5 undercover cops raiding his yard. One of the cops who charged forward quickly recognized the actor though, and they stood down. Tomer was much more careful after that, confessing, "I may have forgotten for a moment where I live. Luckily, I got the job. So we guessed the trouble was worth it."
Yeah, I was ecstatic and hypnotic and amazed by this guy.
Number 4. Auditioning for The Boys was a surprisingly electrifying experience. Quaid shared that, "Erin was the first person to get cast, and my first callback was with her. A chemistry read and our first time ever meeting. However, his second was the one that really shook him." The actor had a hard time articulating exactly what it was like, saying, "That was the most surreal thing that's ever happened in my life. It was memorable to say the least."
You know, when I got cast, I couldn't really believe it. I still can't believe it.
Number 5. The show was still a mystery when the season 2 auditions began. Aya Cash was intrigued, but she wanted to have a chat with the director first. Since auditions were underway, Cash was just given a longer audition time slot to chat with Kripke, and while it all went well enough, Cash wasn't confident since everyone else she saw auditioning looked very different from her. But she was proven wrong, much to her delight.
Thing about Stormfront is she's not afraid of anybody, which I think makes her unique.
Number 6. Good friends tell friends about auditions. Chace Crawford got lucky with his pals who mentioned he should look into the project. He pitched it to his agent and they got him in. But his hopes weren't up when he saw about 100 other people auditioning for the part. Luckily, when he was in the room, he vibed with Eric Kripke, explaining, "I had him laughing. I felt like we were on the same page. I felt good about it." And soon enough, he got the call that the team wanted him in for a screen test, and the rest is history.
But it was a great moment to have with the crew and everyone after a tough year, so it's awesome, yeah.
Number 7. He feels totally at home as Homelander. When Antony Starr's management team suggested he look into the script for The Boys, he didn't jump on the opportunity right away. He didn't think he'd ever be cast in that kind of a role. But his team wasn't about to let him pass up on the opportunity. Then they were hassling, so I sat up in my dressing room and filmed this audition almost out of spite for my reps. His spite didn't come through though, or maybe it did in the right way, since the casting team loved it and wanted to see him again. So Starr invested some effort into it only to discover just how special a project he had in front of him. He may have recorded his screen test in a sketchy looking basement, but the passion was there.
That was kind of surreal.
Number 8. He didn't know what to expect. Their people called his people, and the script for The Boys landed in Karl Urban's hands. Thinking about playing Billy Butcher was an excellent prospect. Urban even said, "I acknowledged this would be a fun character to play, and I would be stupid to turn it down." From then, I set up a meeting with Eric and Seth Rogen and decided there and then I was going to be part of it. No audition needed in this case.
You know, I feel very blessed and privileged to be a part of it.
Number 9. He didn't even care for the comics before auditioning. Laz Alonso had some chats with Garth Ennis about Mother's Milk, and getting to hear what the character was all about made Alonso eager to be part of it. And the team was eager for him to be part of it too. Alonso said, "The audition process was good. I improvised, I made Eric Kripke laugh, and I got the role." Number 10. Auditioning doesn't always happen at the best of times. Jesse got the request to audition, which would normally be great, but he was in the weeds on set for a film. The result of the tape? Usher wasn't a fan. I hated it so bad I sent an email to my agent saying, "I can't send this. I'll get some sleep and send something in the morning, but this is not something I want anyone to see." He wound up filming the tape again the next morning, but he had nothing to be worried about since the team loved it.
A-Train somewhat had control over, his situation before everything hit the fan.
Number 11. Second audition was the charm for Claudia. Her first audition for The Boys didn't go so well. I originally came in to audition for season 1 for the PR woman. I rightfully didn't get it, but that didn't stop her from being a fan of the show. She devoured the first season in a day and a half, and soon after, she got the chance to audition again. She was feeling confident, sharing that, "This is it, I can tap into this." And I just went in and wore this suit and did my thing. Number 12. The ideas in the comic world really freaked him out. But then he gave them a chance. The Black Noir actor explained, "I got this. This is pretty cool." The fact that he was also very experienced in Taekwondo was a major help, and for Mitchell, everything from his first audition to his first day on set felt natural. Number 13. Sometimes the best roles come as a fluke. Giancarlo was surprised himself by how it all happened. In his own words, "All of this happened completely by accident. I was in a studio in Canada shooting Jet and turned a corner and there was Eric Kripke. We were just chatting, what are you doing, blah blah blah, and he takes that proverbial director-producer step back and crosses his arms. The actor knew an offer was coming, and it was music to Kripke's ears when he said,
"I have joined the party now."
Number 14. He may be young, but he's a pro. Cameron Crovetti has been building up his credits, in part thanks to the help of his acting coach, Mom. It was an intense scene he had to audition with, but the series had already been released when the audition came along, so he got to get a good understanding of what was required. They taped, submitted, and a month later, the good news came. Number 15. The Kimiko actress did her research, read some sides, and was pretty quickly sold on the role. She could tell the show was incredible, so she gave it her all in the audition. Clearly, it was a match made in heaven. Auditions can make or break an actor. And while these didn't always go smoothly, clearly they all did something right. Which audition sounds most overwhelming to you?